Hey everybody, I'm so glad that you're still with us. So you learn spiritual impact, how to actually get results in the kingdom. Now that you know that, we need to go to one of the most important parts about being a believer. And this is the way that Jesus said you display your love for others, and that's winning souls. So we're not gonna waste time, let's get right into it. What's the foundation of evangelism, or what's the foundation of winning souls? So first, you have to understand that every believer, whether you're an evangelist, a preacher, or if you don't claim to be any part of the fivefold ministry, you have to understand it's every believer's responsibility to win souls and disciple believers. But we're going to be focusing on winning souls in this one. So John 15, verse 8 and 16. Herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit, so shall ye be my disciples. And then skipping to 16. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you, that you should go and bring forth fruit, that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever you ask the Father in my name, he may give it to you. These things I command you, that you love one another. So he's likening his command to going forth and bringing forth fruit. And then obviously that your fruit should remain, that's discipleship. He's likening that to loving one another. And again, just to clarify, when it says you should go and bring forth, it's talking about going out. Remember, in the Great Commission, he said, "Go ye therefore, go out to bring back souls." So this isn't talking about producing the fruits of the Spirit, even though that's important as well. This is specifically talking about going forth to win souls. So your fruitfulness as a believer is primarily measured by the souls that you get saved and the souls that you keep, meaning discipleship. So we're going to get into a couple of counterintuitive evangelism principles that we aren't taught as believers. So let's get into it. Principle 1. The purpose of evangelism isn't to sow a seed. I know that we've been taught, it's your job to sow the seed and that's all you can do. And of course, people always use the verse, Paul plants the seed, Apollos waters, but God gives the increase. But God never said the purpose of evangelism was to sow a seed. We're going to get deeper in the word, but you're going to understand that in a second. The purpose of evangelism is to save souls. And that may seem obvious, but the average person has a mindset, we're just going to plant a seed. We're not really, if they want to get saved, that's fine. But when you go out to win souls or go out to evangelize, you have to have the mindset, I'm going with the purpose of finding someone that's ready to give their life to Christ. So John 4:36 says, and he that reapeth receiveth wages, and gathereth fruit unto life eternal, that both he that soweth and he that reapeth may rejoice together. Notice this, it said he that reapeth receiveth wages. It didn't say he that soweth receiveth wages. So the one that gets results, the one that actually brings forth the soul, the one that actually gets the soul won, is the one that receives wages from God. So the purpose of evangelism, again, is to see souls saved, to get souls saved. So when you go out to evangelize, you have to approach someone with the intent on starting a conversation that would directly lead to them hearing the gospel and giving their life to Christ. It's as simple as that. And we're going to give you practical ways to do that, which will make it extremely easy once mastered. But that has to be your mindset going into evangelism. Matthew 9:37-38. Then saith unto his disciples, the harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest that he would send forth laborers into his harvest. So what is Jesus saying? Jesus is saying there's a whole bunch of people that's ready to be saved. And he said, pray that God sends forth laborers. So becoming a laborer, becoming a person that wins souls is directly answering God's prayer. So it's not solely for us to pray like it says in this verse, because if you look at the end of Mark 16, that's when he sent them out, which was the fulfillment of this prayer. The fulfillment of this prayer isn't just praying, God send forth laborers, God send forth laborers. The fulfillment of this prayer and of this command is going forth and being the laborer that wins souls. The laborers are few. How many believers specifically do you know that's actively desiring and going out to win souls, or actively having gospel conversations that can lead someone to the gospel? More often than not, that's non-existent in the average believer's life, and that's a huge problem, which just confirms again what Jesus said 2,000 years ago is the problem. So we have to understand our job is to go forth. What is God's job in this equation? John 6:44. No man can come to me except the Father which has sent me draw him, and I will raise him up in the last day. So you have to understand, it's God's job to draw people, to actually give their souls, but it's our job to sift through people to see who God is drawing. So principle 2, is God's job of the believer, or it is the job of the believer to find the harvest or locate who God is drawing. Like I just said, a great evangelist named Scott McNamara, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right, but he started off his evangelism with actually a position in church. He was getting paid to evangelize, but the thing was, it was a fruit-dependent position, meaning if he didn't get souls won and brought into the church, he would lose his position at the end of, I believe it was a quarter. So with that type of pressure, he learned quickly what works and what doesn't. And he said one day when he was on the evangelism field, God spoke to him, and I'm going to show you what God said. So the Holy Spirit spoke to him and said, look around at all these people. Imagine that they're like apples on a tree, and when you share, I shake. And the revelation is everyone is apples on a tree, and when you share, God shakes the tree. So when the tree shakes, some will fall. That's the ones that give their life to Christ. Some will move. That's the ones that move closer to giving their life to Christ. And some won't move at all. But our job is simply to shake the tree and catch the ones that fall. Again, remember, no man can come in unless my Father draw him. So it's not our job to beat salvation out of someone or to pressure someone to salvation, but it is our job to give them the opportunity to accept or deny Jesus. So something seemingly uncommon is needed to assure that you're bringing forth fruit when it comes to evangelizing and actually getting fruit. Of course, is one step of obedience to go out there and start sharing the gospel, but is a couple things that you need to understand and a couple of uncommon mindsets that you have to have that's contrary to how we've been taught as believers in the church that is going to allow you to be the most fruitful. So in the next video, you're going to see the uncommon thing which is required to bear the most fruit. I'll see you in that next video.